This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Sam, nowhere to hide. Sam, how you doing?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Just relaxing.
It's good to hear. Obviously, got the beautiful weather, as we can see, shining on you. In fact, I'm going to ask, is there any chance that we can reposition you?
Too light
Yeah, just a
or
little.
too good looking? There we go.
Maybe a bit of both, Sam, but there you go. That's perfect. Obviously, we just spoke about off camera, obviously, in the middle of lockdown at the minute. How are you finding self-isolation and life as it is at the minute?
Yeah, do you know, it's obviously it's horrible not being able to go to the actual boxing gym, but I've still been doing bits and training and doing online workouts that my gym provides, and I've been trying my best. So and I've just focused on business stuff and property stuff and things away from boxing, but I'm missing it. I'm sure every other boxer is, and I just feel for a lot of in this time I've thought about other boxers, thinking, I wonder how income, because obviously that's the living and stuff, and I know a lot of boxers don't have any other income, and I do feel sorry for them in these times, because it must be hard because people have bills and stuff, but we're not alone. There's loads of others, hairdressers, gym owner, me included. So I've been affected in two ways. So gym owner and a boxer. So but we'll all get through it.
Hopefully we will do. How have you found the training perspective? Obviously, being away from a normal gym, trying to do your own stuff. How is it compared to the normal everyday life and routine you was obviously used to before all of this came about?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've actually got my own gym, so I've been going there by myself, opening up, locking the shutters, and getting stuff done. So I've been at the gym. The only thing I miss is obviously the crack with the lads and that kind of stuff. So it just feels like I've had a fight and I'm out of it. But luckily, obviously, I fought in January, so it's not like I've been out of the ring that long. But it does feel like, it does feel like something just it's crazy out of a movie or something. So I'm excited to get back.
What conversations have you had with Joe and the rest of the team? And whilst obviously everybody's away doing their own work, what have you talked about? What can you talk about boxing-wise? Can you discuss potential fights, even though we don't know how long the world will stay as it is at the minute? What can you talk about boxing?
No, we've not talked boxing at all. Our group chat, we rarely talk boxing, to be honest. So obviously we can just be optimistic like in any walks of life. So we're just trying to stay positive. Joe's reminded us not to obviously balloon and remember that things are still going to happen and we're going to fight one day. So it's just about being realistic, because if you keep setting a goal like it's going to be August, and then if it's not August, then you just get let down. So I think, I can talk for myself. I don't know about anyone else from the gym, but I'm in a position where rather than setting a goal that August or any month, I'm just staying fit, staying healthy, staying whatever for whenever. Otherwise, you just get let down, and you kind of like, I thought it was going to be on that by then. So I'm just adjusting to a different lifestyle. Maybe I have to change my diet a little bit than usual, but yeah, it's just one of them things.
I mean, it's one thing that you just mentioned, your diet. Are you finding it hard to keep to a strict diet? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a boxer, but I'm living at home and it's easy for me just to go and just keep picking up the chocolates, the crisps and what have you, just because it's there. Are you finding a bit of a struggle to stay away from the temptations there?
Yeah, to be honest, I've hardly, I've not been eating. I don't for such a big lad. I don't eat much. Don't know whether it's from making weight over the years, but I generally don't eat much meals. So I've just been snacking, and my diet has changed a bit. But that's one of the things. Like everything, it started terrible. It can only get better. Same as this Corona. So I look at it like, I don't worry. As soon as you start worrying, did this, did that, it started terrible. It's getting better. Like life at the minute.
Now, obviously, just with the boxing talk, and to move on to that, before obviously the coronavirus and lockdown and what have you all came about, what was you talking to Joe about? What was you talking about with regards to potential fights and your route back into the cruiserweight mix on the back of the Jumah defeat?
So we had plans of just getting a fight anywhere really. We didn't have kind of a location set. There was the Manchester bill, so obviously I'd have high hopes I'd probably be on that or anything really. We're going to get another fight and get a win and then see what's there. And after that fight, my rankings went up. I went to number 8 and the world went up and my stocks went up, I suppose, and credit went up. So in respects to that, we were excited for what's next. So it was I was just one win away from then seeing where we go there and whether we didn't really speak about what's next. We'd have to see what maybe potential offers lie on the table, but maybe a different route, maybe, I don't know, maybe just a different route. I've done it the old-fashioned way, kind of like trying to go English, British, and it's not quite worked, and I've been very unfortunate, I believe. But, it was just the same, get a win and we go from there. So it stays the same. It's just been pushed back. We just went on back to get a win and then we go from there.
It's interesting you say that with regards to you've looked at the route of English and British and what have you. I know whenever I've interviewed you, whenever we've spoken kind of away from an interview, you've always had that intent of you wanting to go down that route. With that in mind, is it something now that you may be thinking, I need to not necessarily look beyond that, but go and fight fighters from abroad somewhere and get experience elsewhere instead of just focusing so much on that destination, what you're trying to achieve through the routes that we just mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. And I think although I did want that, I kind of had no other option because I wasn't Olympian and wasn't a huge amateur star. So I had to do it the hard way. So small hall shows and obviously worked my way up. And then when opportunities came, we took them and genuinely, I was winning the Riakapor fight. I thought I was winning. I was winning. And I was on the way to win. So I would have won the belt against the current now British champion. So the decision still wasn't wrong taking that opportunity. But my eye obviously exploded and that was very unfortunate, which left me with a loss. And then I had to climb back in the mix to get back there. And then that just so happens that I got made mandatory for Deion Jumah. So, I got made mandatory and not many other opportunities will come to me because I'm risky and I've not got that huge profile. So I genuinely believe they're the only chances I'm going to get, either mandatory or where the other opposition is basically forced to, really. So say like Eddie's putting them on a big show, they don't really have much of a say who they fight. Even though they do, they can say no, but then Eddie won't put you on or another promoter won't put you on. So they have to get you a fight. So they would maybe not prefer me, or they might do, but I doubt it. I doubt they'd look at me and go, oh yeah, they know it's a tough night work. So I believe that with Jumah as well. And that got made mandatory. So we both cracked on and he was victorious. And I still believe I won that fight. I've watched it back and I suppose it was one of them where whoever you thought really on the night. I know a lot of people said me, a lot of people said him. I'm sure I've set up 2 big rematches in the future. I've obviously fought someone who's now become British champion. I've fought the English champion who's going to try and become British champion. And I believe obviously opportunities are still, in abundance for me. So I've just got to see what's next. However, I'm not going to. I wasn't in the position I was then where I had to prove myself. I've proved myself now. I think everyone knows I am British level at a minimum. So, and I'm still learning. I'm still young. So, I've just got to see where and what happens. But I'm happy with where I'm at. Obviously, I'm gutted. I've got 2 losses on my record because I genuinely believe I didn't lose both. So. So it's just one of them.
It's not something I want to dwell on, but just with regards to the Jumah fight, and you mentioned you watched it back, you felt you won. Excuse me. Obviously, I was there at the fight. Excuse me, Dad. Obviously, I was there at the fight covering it, and it was an incredibly close fight. I did edge it towards you myself, but it would have been one of them that he could understand if it was given the other way. With that in mind, and I know it shouldn't affect the judges' scorecards and what have you, but because you was the home fighter, was you surprised at the time he didn't make maybe that little bit of a difference?
In a way, but see the thing why the home fighter, the home fighter only comes in when the promoter of the home show offers a huge thing. Joe Gallagher doesn't offer, like, even though it was in my like hometown, it doesn't affect anything really other than crowds. But he had as much crowd as me. He brought loads down. So obviously, when they say the home fighter, if a big promoter brought in someone, they're, you know, from abroad, they're the home fighter. But because this promoter's clearly got the financial kind of pull. However, Joe didn't. If anything, it's quite the opposite, because Joe gets sticks in. Oh, he only won because he's a Joe Gallagher fighter, and Callum Smith got abused. So I reckon going into that fight, they're very, very, very neutral. And I believe just it's what they may thought, and also I think that what does happen in boxing, people may have thought that he was going to outschool me, outbox me a lot more. So they're kind of anticipating that. So as soon as he did something good, they've got me losing before a start. And I know that happens a lot in boxing. So I watching it back, it was ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. They didn't give it a draw. Like, literally, it was just stupid not to, because it was like couldn't be more razor close. Could have given it me, could have given it him. Especially it's in my hometown. Andy's the English champion. A draw would have just made complete sense. So the fact I was that unfortunate to get a loss, just kind of really sums up my career, really. You know, even when I do whatever I can, like, I finished strong. I was, you know, it was exciting. I did everything I possibly can. I only found out it was a 12 rounder the night before. And to just get a loss, it just kind of put things in perspective with boxing, really. So, you know.
Sorry, Sam, carry on if you had more.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, so like, even though I did lose, and it put things in perspective with boxing with me, as in, like, I've proved myself now. I know what level I'm at. People know what level I'm at. Even though it was a loss, everyone who's watched that and knows about that knows really didn't lose, as in, like, you know, didn't get the usual, you know, beating or losing. So it just basically shows that boxing is my job, and just changed my aspects of stuff. So rather than treating it like a hobby, it's my job, and it pays me. So it just changed it a bit. Didn't leave a bad light on it, but what I'm trying to say is, it just reminded me boxing has no friends, kind of. They take no prisoners. That's all. So rather than thinking everybody, you know, it's always to help me, or boxing, love boxing. No, boxing's my job. I love it, and but I won't let boxing take more from me. Take more from me than needed, kind of thing. You know, just put things a bit in light, really, with that loss. I was just thinking, wow, what do I have to do to make something in boxing? So I'm actually quite happy it happened, because it switched a few lights on.
Just one thought which I wanted to get your thoughts on before asking about a couple of other things before I do leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. I spoke to Eddie Hearn, obviously, before lockdown and what have you, in Cardiff. There's a show announced there. Chris Billam-Smith was on it, and Eddie mentioned that they originally wanted to do a show in Bournemouth, headlined by Chris Billam-Smith, against one of the other British level cruiserweights, and they couldn't find an opponent. He said that they offered you the fight, but it was just too short notice with regards to the time period from the Jumah fight until the dates which they wanted to have Chris Billam-Smith fight. Could you talk to me about that, and where exactly negotiations went, and what exactly the talks were like?
Absolutely, truthfully, no idea. I think it was one of them. It may have been put to Joe, but it was clearly that was never going to happen. So obviously, I just had a 12-round war that I lost. So, you know, I don't think I would have been able to fight for a camera coming off, fight for a title coming off a loss. Do you know what I mean? So I would have had to have another fight before. It's basically was never going to happen in a million years. So it wouldn't have needed for my manager to mention it. But I've generally not been mentioned it anyway. But I don't even need to speak to him about it because it was obvious that's not going to happen.
Is it a thought you'd be interested in Chris Billam-Smith if Eddie was to turn around and say, once all this is over, do you fancy it?
100%. Like I said, I'll fight anyone. I think I've proved that. I'll fight anybody, absolute anybody, for the right money now. And that's what I was talking about before. I would switch lights on. Like, I don't have to prove myself more and fight for any less than I deserve. I know my worth. So if someone wants me on their show and someone wants me to fight, they've got to pay. And if they don't want to do that, fine. You know, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So, of course, but it's my job, it's my business. I love it. And if anyone, like I've said, anyone, if it makes sense now, it makes sense any champion because I've proven myself in British. So it makes sense for them, I believe a lot. So it's just got to make sense for me if it follows the path that I'm on next. But 100%, anybody for the right money and right time.
Just a final one before I do leave you to the rest of your evening. This week or last week, it may have been Joe Calzaghe and Carl Froch across their respective podcasts, and in Joe Calzaghe's case on TalkSport, both looked back on what never happened. Carl Froch saying he'd love to fight. Now Joe Calzaghe saying he's really interested in it. In their primes, who do you think would have been victorious, Joe Calzaghe or Carl Froch?
Joe Calzaghe. Yeah, he's class. Like, you watch him back and you watch him, like, he slaps his punches. Doesn't look like he hits particularly hard. But, you know, what a fighter. But the Carl Froch as well, what a fight would have been. But, yeah, just edge Calzaghe because of his work rate and his, you know, the punches and, you know, the people he's got on his resume. Like, you could not fault him. And I think he's absolutely class.
Well, Sam, we'll leave that there now, and we'll leave you to go on to enjoy the rest of your evening. Before I let you go, what would you like to say to everybody who will tune in and watch our interview?
Yeah, thank you for watching this interview, and I'm excited to get back, and hopefully everyone's excited for the boxing to start and watching me back in the ring, hopefully winning a title that's truly deserved, I believe. So, and thank you for your time as well, because these interviews do get my face around and people watch it and make their opinion on me, which is good. So appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, Sam, and giving you up. I know you're a busy man. It's always been a pleasure to catch up with you. Stay safe, and as I've said to everyone I've interviewed so far, I'll hopefully see you in person to do an interview in the near future once everything's back to some form of normality. Well, look after yourself, Sam, and thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Definitely. Thank you, mate. Take it easy.